All right, so thank you everyone for joining today. We're going to get started now. My name is Derek Wood. I'm the Partner Product Manager here at SOS, and with me I have Shaylin Herrick, our Director of Business Marketing. So any marketing questions we're also going to be taking today, and you can go through that. Again, the agenda for today is first, industry overview. What is it? What really are we talking about as far as the relevance of this new program that we have? What does it mean to you if you're an existing partner, a prospective partner? What does it mean to your customers? How is this going to affect the services that they're getting from you and what you can provide to them? Specific features and benefits, competitive landscape, and how that dynamic has changed since the launch of our ServerSave product. And then into a product tour and show through our partner program and what it looks like. And then we'll be giving out the Kindle code and opening up Q&A. Again, at any time you can enter questions, comments, whatever we'd like to put into the presentation. At any time using the GoToMeeting chat function, and we'll stop periodically to ask some questions as well. So first, a brief overview of SOS Online Backup and how we've been able to operate in this online backup market and how the market's changed over the last 5 and 10 years. So founded in 2001, SOS Online Backup had rather humble tech startup roots in a dorm room in Melbourne, Australia, rather than Silicon Valley. And it wasn't until 2005 that we took on a launch in the United States and globally. So 2005, 2006 was really our launch out into the world. And we won our first PC Mag Editor's Choice Award with a beta version in 2006. And since then, we've been consistently awarded the PC Mag Editor's Choice Award for our third time this last November. And we're really proud of that. It's a great survey. Our fourth time, Shayla, correct me, sorry, our fourth time that we've been awarded the PC Mag Editor's Choice Award. And they award that every 2 years. So it's been nice that we can see how this has grown and grown. Now, where we've seen online backup grow from 2005 to now is we're just coming out of the early adoption phase. Online backup was skeptical from the beginning because of people first becoming familiar with just online purchasing in general. The whole idea of putting your credit card into a web form, hitting send, and submitting this information across the internet was a little discerning to people at a security level. You have all these malware sites and lies, and it takes a little bit of savvy to understand that you don't want to put your credit card in every form you see. With backup, it was the same type of thing. Big concerns over the security of the whole program, not to mention the functionality when it comes to the speed and viability. So what kind of infrastructure do you have available? Are you still on dial-up? If you were on dial-up, it's not going to be that feasible for you to put up 100 gigs of data across the wire, nor to restore it across the wire. So we're coming out of this early adoption phase where people have the available bandwidth, the security needs that they have aren't that intense, or they've been able to prove the security over time with limited implementations, whatever that may entail, a single workstation, single server. And we're now coming into a point where now the 33% growth year over year for the last 4 or 5 years is no longer going to be just your individual users and micro businesses that have low risk of migrating to new services. We're now looking at the more conservative SMB market, our early majority, really moving into cloud-based backup solutions. We really expect, and this is based on IDC, that spending on cloud-based services should go from about a 1% of your IT spending budget to nearly 4 or 5%.
3.
So we're expecting this to really grow, and Shaylin can talk to the IDC data in a little more detail.
Absolutely. The information that's being reported from IDC is based on their conversations with CIOs and CTOs, basically big-time IT decision makers in enterprises and small to medium-sized businesses. One of the most interesting facts that they found was that 69% of businesses surveyed are in the phase of evaluating or planning to use cloud backup. That's a 69% market share that is coming all of our way in the next 2 years, which is awfully exciting, and that speaks to the increase in percentage of IT budget allocated to cloud services. And so why is this happening? One reason is trust of the cloud, like Derek discussed. Another reason is that cloud storage is now becoming less expensive or comparably expensive and, of course, more reliable than tape backup. Because hosted storage costs are decreasing, there's a technical sophistication of the population that's increasing, and significant increase in size and value of digital data that's created by consumers and by businesses on a daily basis. We're creating so much more stuff, like photos, documents, and they're important documents. They could be taxes, financial documents. We're creating it and updating it and versioning it constantly, and we need to make sure that it's safe. Fortunately, internet bandwidth has improved so much over the last 5 to 10 years, and I could probably even say 24 months, that we can get that data up into the cloud much more reliably and much more quickly. SOS does compress and encrypt data. We encrypt data locally in transit and at the data center, and none of that impacts the speed with which we can upload data. We can upload data as fast as the site's internet connection speed.
And this brings us to a question that Mark has. How do you deal with bandwidth caps for your clients? That's been one of the big features that we boast, or not even a feature, it's more of a policy that SOS has always boasted, which is we're not pricing our service out based on what we expect people to use. We price it out based on what we allow people to use. So we don't have bandwidth caps on what we allow people to upload. So here in this office, actually, we have a 100 meg pipe, 50 of which is allocated to just our users in each office. And if you're running an upload in our office, you'll see at your individual workstation the upload get up to 40 megabits per second. The SSL brings that pipe in a little bit, but it really can transfer as quickly as your pipe will push it. So that's really nice. And we actually have a speed test on our home site. If you go to sosonlinebackup.com and click, I believe it's called Super Fast Backup.
It does say speed test on the website, so if you see a link on the home page called speed test, click on that and you'll be able to see the results of an independent survey that we did outside of this office. So it was on a normal DSL connection speed, and you can also see the specifics on that if you click on the link towards the bottom of the page. It's pretty interesting. We were able to do an initial upload in less than half the time of Mozy or Carbonite.
Right, and that's with a relatively at least for our area here in Los Angeles, less than average upload speed. If you were to see like Verizon Fios and other glass to your door services, those types of things, you'd really see a much more dramatic difference in how quickly we get through the initial backup. But moving on, again, what we're seeing is the 16% of companies surveyed have some sort of online backup. And what we're really seeing is that most of those companies that do have some sort of online backup or cloud-based backup service are doing still just another iteration of testing. So it's not a full implementation of a cloud-based backup solution. It's taking a cloud-based strategy and putting it at some limited scope. So one workstation, one server. What we're seeing over the next few years is a huge growth that really piggybacks on one, you all. So the managed service market movement. So just a quick survey, who in here would consider themselves to be newly entering the managed service market, meaning you have managed services that you charge a fixed rate for per month and services behind it rather than doing everything per hour. And new would be, you're putting together a plan to get into it now. This is part of your plan to get into it now, or you're within the first year. So David says it's fairly new, started last year. Terrific. Mark said, okay, it looks like across the board we're pretty much in the same boat. And that's beautiful, because that's really what we build this program on the premise of, is you all being new or having newly entered the managed service market.
And these slides are here to illustrate to you what kind of opportunity there is in the managed service space. So a little bit ago I spoke to the comparable cost of cloud storage and increased reliability of cloud storage versus tape backup. This slide is pointed to illustrate to that. Business spend is increasing as functionality increases in the cloud storage space. And we're seeing that every month. There are new things to do and update and new things to learn. Consequently, we are releasing updates and new products fairly frequently. Are there any questions? Feel free to type them in the chat box if there are. And let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Yeah. And as those come in, so again, we're looking at not only a tremendous growth in the number of SMBs, 5 to 50 users, and of course, businesses larger than that. Not only are we seeing an increased adoption at just a number of SMBs, but the increased adoption rate per SMB. So rather than a single workstation strategy or a single point, we're going to see an entire business now have a cloud-based backup strategy in place. So that's really exciting. And those of you who are on the line who are who are existing customers can probably attest to that's what you're seeing. At first, maybe Tim could say maybe last year he had a lot of customers who were going in for a single server, a single workstation, and now we're seeing that it's going on and on. So again, the next wave of online backup adoption, SMB, and how does our offering differentiate from other offerings out there? Well, rather than simply offering a single strategy and then still needing other pieces to get into a true backup solution, we've now offered a total business data protection plan. So as its first checkbox on the left here says, coverage for workstations, servers, laptops, and mobile devices. So we're getting through not only what we originally did, which was a really terrific file and folder strategy for your workstations, maybe your file server, but now we're going to get into application-based backup. So those of you, we have some questions here asking about the presentation and the slide, and absolutely we'll show you where you can download the slide before this is even over. So what we're trying to offer, what we've put together here, is the ability to offer an end-to-end backup solution and really collapse that RTO and RPO to under 30 minutes, which is quite a ambitious goal, and we expect that over the next 3, 6, and 9 months, the new features and services we're going to be releasing will get us there. So for those of you, the RTO is a restore time objective. How quickly can you get back up and running if you've lost something? And an RPO is how is that something that you're getting back? When you recover that backup, is that backup 1 day old, 1 hour old, 30 minutes old? The 30-minute-old backup is what we're going for. So the product, what are you getting in our suite of services? So we have this nice pretty slide to illustrate all the different types of backup needs that you would have, as there's error prevalent in all of these areas. So cloud-based backup, how do you recover information that is typically thought to be safe because it's a cloud-based service? So your Twitter account, LinkedIn, Facebook. How do you back up all this information that, from a user's perspective, is safe in the cloud, but we all know that the cloud is just hardware somewhere else? How do we make sure that these blackouts that happen when data centers aren't properly managed by humans who just make mistakes, or you have storms which shut them down, or some global event like the World Cup, which nearly shut down the Twitterverse and the link between the Atlantic. We have these different options. So we've launched ourselves a Facebook application currently, and we're doing some testing on that and seeing how that's going to work out. And eventually we're going to be moving into these different web-based forms of communication and marketing, and then releasing generic versions of that so that you all could have that. So keep your eyes peeled for the next, again, 3, 6, and 9 months out.
And then I think the right-hand side of the slide will answer a question that we have from Jeff about bare metal backup and restore. The system state data and app data portions of this slide do speak to that. We do provide bare metal backup and restore to dissimilar hardware with the SOS ServerSave product. So we'll get into that a little bit more, and Derek will do a demo of the program.
Right. So traditionally, most of the SMBs that we go into are going to have some sort of local full system backup strategy in place, whether it's a tape-based system running backup exec, or some really expensive service like Zenith or Dato, something of that nature. where it's based on locally held hardware and then backups running to that. And then we also, and what we're doing is, rather than now recommending that you go to someone else to do that local backup, we're adding that to our own suite of services. So now we're providing the full end-to-end. So your cloud-based backup, your workstation and laptops. So laptop fleets, mobile workers, people are cutting their costs by shutting down their main offices. So now you have a lot of people working from home. How do you manage the data that's being developed and created for your business if it's not on site? It's a big problem for CIOs and CTOs everywhere, especially with the stealth cloud coming out. How do you manage data that's all around these Box.net and Dropbox services, which have been proven pretty outright not to be secure. So we have workstation-based backup, very simple and secure. That's our flagship product, the file and folder backup system. We have the mobile applications that we're going to be releasing out over time as well. So being able to back up information from your mobile, your iPhone, your Droid. It also allows you to share and recover information as well from the rest of your backup set, so you have a productive use of your backup system without violating any type of security protocols that you would need. File and folder backup still doesn't change, server-based backup, and now the application backup and full system backup and restore. With our ServerSave program, what are you getting? So again, you're going to be able to have, with each ServerSave license, you have the ability for granular exchange